Welcome to Different Look. I'm Maniko Barthelemy. As many of you know, March is Women's History Month. Since the first Women's Rights Convention in 1848, women have undoubtedly made strides in traditional career fields like education, military service, and hospitality. But what is it like to be the boss and work in what some still call a man's world? Today, we celebrate 3 women who continue to make history in career fields traditionally viewed as the all-boys club. Cheriss May owns and operates Indie May Graphics, a growing still photography business that is a combination of her transition from advertising to journalism and education. May's captures some of the most intimate events in someone's life and takes us to some of the exotic places through her work. How and when did she decide to work for herself? Cheriss May joins us in studio with that answer and much more. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I already know I chewed up the name of your company, so correct me.
That's fine. It's Indie May Graphics.
And tell us the story behind the name.
Indie May came from Indie being a Swahili word that means God sent. And then May is my last name. So the name Indie May is a constant reminder to me how it's a godsend that I'm able to do something that I really love doing.
And explain what a graphic artist actually does, because some people might hear that term and go, how can you make money doing that type of work? So what exactly do you do?
As a graphic designer artist, I do everything from logos to website design, to newsletters, to convention programs, bags, all the things you see at the different conferences. I can design all of that.
And you got your start in traditional news, right?
I did. I started out in journalism, working for a couple of papers in the area, Washington Post and USA Today.
What was it like for you once you decided to make that transition and you got in and noticed that there weren't a lot of women doing this type of work?
Right. It was a challenge. It was a little bit challenging, but I was really determined to make it work. And because I really love doing it, I just kept at it until it started to produce clients and, more work coming in.
What concerns did you have about starting your own business and working as a graphic artist with the understanding that, one, it's going to be challenging, period, to start your own business, but you will be working in a predominantly male career field.
Right.
And it's almost like you don't have the tag of a major corporation behind your name.
Right.
It's Cheriss May. So you have to deal with all of those elements. Why did you stick with it, and how did you start out?
I started out because it was something I really loved to do, and I always knew that I wanted to have my own business. I kind of started out like that as a child. My parents told me that I would do different things, from selling my grandmother's old costume jewelry to I took a cake decorating class, and I actually sold the cupcakes and custom cakes to my classmates in like middle school, junior high. So,
okay, so you bypassed lemonade and went straight to cupcakes.
I went straight to the cupcakes and the sheet cakes. Yeah. So it was something that I always wanted to do. I knew, I just felt it. It just felt right. So I just kept doing what I loved until it blossomed into someone hired me for my first gig. And that was a company that was having their holiday party. And said, oh, can you take pictures for our holiday party? And they rented out the Natural History Museum. I had never done anything like that. I was scared. I was really scared. But you know what? I said, I'm going to do it. I have to start somewhere. I did it, and it turned out to be successful, and it turned into other business. And that was one of my main concerns, is going out on my own, is that I keep consistent business coming in, so that I would be able to support myself.
But you taught a little before you started Indie May?
Yes.
All right. Talk to us about that experience.
That was wonderful, actually. I started out at University of Maryland, College Park as an adjunct, teaching journalism design. And then Howard University, which is my alma mater, I actually taught there for 10 years in the School of Communications, advertising, and then I also taught newspaper production and design.
And what advice would you give young girls, specifically teenagers, who may have that desire to be a creative artist, but you're hearing from your friends and your family, that's not a real job.
You can't make money.
Or that's a hobby.
Right.
What tips of advice or advice would you give to that young girl who's thinking about doing something like what you're doing?
Right. Number one, I would say if this is something that you're really passionate about and you really want to do it, is to keep pushing towards that. Number two, I would say, is to get a couple of mentors maybe. So you look at someone who is doing what you want to do and have them mentor you. You can go with them on jobs. You can see how they handle it, see how they work with clients and the different things they do. And that will actually help them to get a leg up on how they need to prepare for a career in creative.
What are some of the lessons you've learned on the job? Because when you start out to work for yourself, it's on the job training every day. And you're at, a wedding or a function and you have grandma in your ear. Don't forget to get a picture of my grandbaby or great-grandbaby, and you hear that 500 times.
Right.
How do you deal with it?
Well, there are a number of things that came up that were kind of lessons. Number one is to get a deposit from clients when you're working with them, not to start on the work before you actually have a contract and deposit taken care of, because I burned myself a little bit in the beginning with that, where I would work so hard on some things and then the client would drag their feet or they change their mind on something. So now I know, like, if I get a deposit, then someone is serious about, they want that work done. As far as being out on shoots and people are in your ear telling you, take this, take that, you just smile and, do what the client who hired you to do, because that'll happen a lot of times. You'll be hired by someone and they have a specific shot list or things they want captured, but then you'll have other people kind of, well, did you get this, or did you, kind of questioning that, and I say, oh, okay, thank you, and I just stick to what I'm supposed to do. Okay.
And something else you're doing aside from the graphic artist bit and the still photography is operating your own clothing line. I want to make sure we get to that. Okay. So let's start out with this little cute shirt here and tell us all about the design and the history of it and where it came from. It's clear it's for a baby because it's too small for me, but talk to us about the line.
It's a baby tee. It's called Unified Soul, and I started it in about 2000, and it came out of just seeing different statement tees that were negative, misogynistic, and things like that. So I wanted to actually do something that was positive, because a lot of times people say, well, I'm not what I wear, but we actually are, especially if you choose like certain statement tees. Sure. It represents like, where your head is and what you're thinking.
Talk to us about this one here. So more appropriate size.
Right.
For an adult.
That one actually came out of the first inauguration of President Barack Obama, and he gave a speech, and in the speech, he said, Black, white, Latino, Asian, just a very unifying message. So I, in turn, decided to make something like that, because Unified Soul is about unity and not separating people, but appreciating us and our differences.
Okay. And you showed me this one and said it was special, so explain.
Right. That was special because that actually is the statement or the tagline of Unified Soul, love who I am. So that one right there is the tee that I have that statement on, but when you flip it on the back, okay, it's actually the map of Africa, but it's set up as wings, as angels, angel wings. So I named that shirt Soul Fly. And so it's representative of the culture, African culture. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We definitely enjoy all of the pieces. I don't know if I'm going to let you leave with them, but thank you.
Thank you.
To find out more about Cheriss May and see more of her work, log on to cherissmay.com.